Welcome to the Broadside Podcast.
With host, my dad, Andy Elliott.
All right, welcome back to the Broadside Podcast. I'm Andy Elliott, and on today's episode, I'm joined by DJ Scadlock. Some of you might recognize that name from an episode I did about a little over a year ago with DJ and Chris, where we highlighted Titan Outdoors' event, the Little Titans Hunting Camp, for kids who want to learn how to hunt. I'll put a bunch of links in the show notes. We dive into that and what it is. Long story short, a kid 9 to 15 from any state can submit a video for the chance to go to this camp and learn hunting from start to finish, from chasing animals to wrapping their own meat. It's an awesome opportunity for a kid who might not have the resources. Maybe your parents don't hunt and you want to hunt, or you have a kid who wants to hunt and you don't hunt. Check out the links, the show notes, and give those guys a holler. Other than that, me and DJ sat around a fire here and had a couple beers, and I got to hear a little bit about the roller coaster of emotions he's been on since harvesting his archery bull, which in Eastern Washington, and currently is the pending state record. It's a cool story on how it all went down. Some of it not so cool from some of the hunting community since then, and the backlash after he harvested this animal. It's kind of crazy how we infight like this, but anyways, we get into that. It's a great listen. Thanks for joining me. Like, share, follow. If you could send this podcast or a link to a few friends, that'd help me out. I appreciate everybody that sticks around and listens to me bullshit on this thing. Yeah. Thank you, guys. All right. Yeah, so go ahead and let's just give us an introduction.
All right, so I'm DJ Scadlock. I grew up over on the west side of Washington, a little town called PL. Grew up hunting big game of all species, grouse, coyotes, you name it. I was out there chasing it as a kid. Now I'm moved over here, 15, 16 years ago, something like that. And now I'm chasing the big game around this country, so.
Yeah, so for those of you who've listened before, DJ was on, I want to say it was episode 3 with Chris, and titled Titan Outdoors. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I just kind of wanted to start off and chat about kind of how your hunting season went, since this is a hunting podcast.
I had an incredible hunting season. So I ended up drawing one of the coveted quality bull tags. So that kind of started my scouting season a little early. Started scouting in June. Ended up finding what I knew was just an absolute stud of a bull. I knew he was the bull I wanted to target. There were multiple other bulls in there with him that were worthy of the tag. Watched him every chance I got, and then come September 1st was able to kind of put my tag on him. How do you want to do that?
No, you're good. We could kind of fall back and talk about, so I know we have some mutual friends. I know some people who know you, and from what I heard was you put in the work. Like, how often were you out there scouting, and how?
Every opportunity I got. But I think, I grew up as a modern firearm hunter. It wasn't until 2015 I drew I drew one of the multi-season deer tags and was like, I got this bow that I got for super cheap, so I'll go out. I ended up getting lucky and harvesting a deer after putting in zero work with a bow on that one. The bow went in my closet. I went back to a rifle. Both my girls now are hunters, and they're modern firearm. They're both too little to pull a bow back, and I'm not a huge fan of muzzleloaders. So I decided, with both my girls being modern tag holders, there wasn't a point for 3 of us in the household to have modern elk, modern deer tags. So I decided I was going to switch it up and go to bow this year and put in some work on it. Put in for that quality bull tag. A couple days later, buddy of ours, Justin, calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, what units did you put in for?" I told him, and he said, well, you might, I think I'm going to put in for the same ones. We'll, and then we'll see what happens. So the day of the draw comes around, and I called Justin immediately as soon as I seen selected. I was like, dude, I drew that tag. And he's like, no way. Let me call you back in 5 minutes. You might have a hunting partner. So, all right. So, sure enough, phone rings, and he's like, well, looks like we're hunting together. I'm like, oh, perfect, man. This will be awesome. It'll be a good hunt. I can guarantee a pretty solid 340, 350 bull out of that unit,
Yeah.
And couple days go by, we start talking about doing some shooting. I told him, like, I have little to no knowledge with a bow. like zero. Said, so I took my old bow. It's 2005 Matthews Switchback. Took that bow over to Justin. Said, hey, man, here's my bow. What do I need to make it work for the season?
That's a guy you can take it to, too.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, I can't afford a new one. He's like, well, I'll be completely honest with you. You need a new one. I'm like, damn, that is not what I wanted to hear. So he's like, well, I've got this one bow. I just picked up a new one. I've got this bow. I'm going to sell it, but you can use it for the season. So we go out and we start practicing. He's going through the ins and the outs, and oh man, it was every day I was shooting. Every single day I was shooting, wearing out my shoulder as much as I could just to, I wanted to make sure that I made this count.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm practicing at ranges that I'm not even going to think about considering, I'm not even going to consider shooting an animal at that range, but I figured if I start, if I was shooting at those ranges, getting into that 50, 60 yard max is,
You'd
it's
be a
going
lot
to,
more confident.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the confidence level to get that animal on the ground in a humane way. We don't want to see him struggle.
Absolutely.
So yeah, did all that. Come June, we started putting in the extra work of scouting, and it was every single chance I had to get up there, get behind my spot and scope, and the first few times we saw bulls, and we saw what a lot of people would consider good bulls, but they're just bulls for that unit, they're just a 320 bull,
Yeah. Yeah, not to cut you off, but so how many times before last season had you even like shot a bow? Like your old bow, like
I don't know if you want me to be honest on that. Honestly,
no, that's fine. Yeah, it's
I bet you I could count on my hands and toes how many times I'd actually shot a bow.
I asked because like going to a place with someone as knowledgeable as Justin or and going in there kind of like a blank slate is almost, I would say, better because
Right.
you haven't developed a bunch of bad habits yet, like I have,
Right.
that I'm trying to work through.
Right.
Like you get a guy that can sit there and tell you, okay, you're doing this wrong, stop doing that. So that's a pretty awesome way to go about it, really.
And it was everything. I mean, he'd drill one thing into my head, and we would just focus on that one
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah.
And then the following day, it was like, okay, you've got this drilled into your head. Now we're gonna drill this on top of that. So let's, and then we slowly worked up from there. And before I knew it, I was out shooting at 100 yards with him, fairly accurately. So, not as accurate as him.
Yeah,
That guy is
he makes me want to
incredible
throw
with
my
the
bow across the field.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it. When he's shooting little,
Yeah.
2-inch circles at 100 yards is
It's
insane.
insane. Yep.
It's nuts.
But yeah, sorry, you can go back June, you're out scouting, seeing some bulls.
So we'd go out, we'd do some scouting, talk to some landowners in the area. Found some good bulls, found some pretty like non-typical looking bulls, like, split main beam type bulls, really cool, neat bulls that, I'd show pictures to guys and they'd be like, man, those big bulls are cool, but you'll never have another chance with one like that, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what I'm seeing in here, So come June 28th, we were behind the spotters, and Justin said, DJ, you got to see this one. You have to see this bull. So I looked at him and I'm like, holy cow, like he's pushing, how would you, So June 28th, he was pushing his G7s. I'm like, gosh, he's pushing little crabby G7s. He's going to be an 8x8 bull, you know. And at that point, we named him Krabby because he had those little crabby 8s.
Gotcha.
That bull is anything from crabby, but those little crabby points are what got that nickname for him. So that was what I dubbed him as for the remainder of the time. And it was every time I went out, I was looking for him. And I would see him, and I'd see his bachelor group. And, you know, he's running with 15, 20 other bulls that are, you know, fairly good caliber bulls. 3 weeks before the season, went out there, and I found his bachelor group. And I knew because of the split, you know, the split main beam bulls. I knew they were his. I knew it was his group, but he was nowhere to be found. Nowhere with them. You know, and I got videos of this bull, you know, standing on his hind legs when they're still in velvet and their horns are all, their antlers are all tender, you know, and they're just kicking the crap out of each other, just playing around. I've got all sorts of cool videos of him. But he was nowhere with that bachelor group. And I don't know what the heck happened because nothing was hot. They weren't chasing cows. They weren't, you know, the rest of the group was still bachelored up. I don't know if he just got tired of those young bulls being dicks and
Yeah.
it was like, I'm getting the hell away from you guys. You're too much for me. And went off on his own. So I lost him for 3 weeks before the season. And I never did find him until the opener.
Gotcha. You good? Keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Just throw some wood on this fire.
So
It's fucking
right.
January right here. Outdoors, it's pretty wild.
So come the opener, once again, I find his bachelor group. He's still not in there. And I'm just like, son of a gun, what the heck happened? You know, how is he with them every day? And now he's just vanished, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances of that? The one bull that I knew I wanted to have. Well, we're watching that group. And like I said, there's some 320, 330 bulls in there. Maybe one might have been a 340, 350 bull. He was a good bull. But we spot another bachelor group, you know, half mile off from us. Well, I guess they were probably 3/4 of a mile off. And I told my buddy Tyler, all right, well, you know, he's not in this group. Let's go check out that group. That group's known to have bigger bulls than this group. Let's go see if there's one over there that I'll get excited about and try to put my tag on. And we start heading over there, and in between us and the bulls, I see two other hunters. And I'm like, gosh dang, man, like, I don't want to screw anything up for those guys. So we kind of glass around right there, and sure enough, there's a 5x5 bull coming up the ridge towards those guys. I see them knock an arrow, so I tell Tyler, let's just kick back and see how this goes, you know. And so we sit down and we're watching them do their little hunt play out. And it's pretty cool just to watch other people from a distance, you know.
Yeah.
And Ty is still in his spot and scope. He goes, DJ, there's a bull down here and you need to go shoot him. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I turn over there into the spotter and I'm like, that's Krabby, man. That is him. That is the bull I've been looking for. All alone, all by himself, standing in the middle of the sagebrush, just glowing in the sun. And I'm like, how many other guys are seeing him right now? You know, he's just standing there. But still, I've still got these two guys on the next ridge over putting a stalk on this bull that's coming right to him. I don't want to screw things up for him. I'm not that guy, you know. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So we kick back and we watch him, and he beds down in that sagebrush. All you can see were his top's sticking out of the sage. And I can give you some of these pictures and stuff that you can add to the video if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that the same bull? You sent me a picture of one in velvet. I want to say. Is that the same? Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I sent you a picture of him when he was still a 6.
Yeah. Yep.
Super tall, super narrow 6.
Yeah.
But he had those G3s that kind of kicked out. Short G3s, but they kick outward away from. They're pretty neat. So I told Ty, I'm going to let this hunt play out over here. As soon as that bull's out of my sight and he can't see me and I know I'm not going to F those guys over, I'm going to hit this draw and I'm going to go try and make a play on him. So we wait, and it's probably 10 minutes, and there again, we're still just watching his tops sticking out of the sagebrush, and they're just, the tops of his antlers are just absolutely glowing. You know, it was super cool to watch. The wind's coming up the hill perfectly, hitting me right dead in the face, and I'm like, this is just perfect. Light rain, you know, and I'm like, there's just no way I'm gonna screw this up. So finally, that bull busts those guys. I don't know if they just decided not to shoot him. You know, there were some guys that I'd seen in there scouting as well. They knew the caliber of bulls that were in there.
Yeah.
So he busts them, takes off over the ridge. Told Ty, it's game time, man. Here I go. So I get down in the bottom of the draw, and I've got all these thoughts going through my head. You know, some of the guys that I talked to, you know, some of my friends are like, yeah, you're gonna see him, man, but you got to remember, you got a bow in your hands, not a rifle. You still got to get in there and make it happen. So, you know, that stuff's like robbing the excitement right out of my body. I'm like, gosh dang it, I'm gonna screw this up. Everybody told me I'm gonna screw it up. You're gonna screw it up more times than you make it happen.
That's archery.
Yeah, right, right. So, and I did learn that in deer season. This hunt, not necessarily.
Yeah.
So I get down in the bottom of the draw, and I'm about halfway to him, and I felt what every hunter, I don't care if you're a rifle hunter, an archery hunter, a muzzleloader hunter, what every hunter doesn't want to feel. And then I felt that wind hit me dead in the middle of my neck, and I went, son of a gun. Like, it's game over. My only hope was, if I stay low in this draw, my scent's just going to get carried down the draw. It's not going to come out of the draw, you know. And I wasn't sure. It was just what I was telling myself to make this happen. So I still wanted to get down past that bull where he was bedded and then come up on him, you know. So I get down there, like I said, light rain. So typically the desert floor is pretty crunchy. The rain has just softened everything. It's just, everything's getting just, as Joel put it, gift wrapped. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
can't ask for it better.
Right.
Yeah.
So I find a trail where they had been using it, and it was just rototilled. So it was super soft dirt, super quiet, and I'm sneaking through there, and I'm thinking, as I'm coming up the ridge out of the draw, I get to the top, and I'm like, gosh, he's out there a little ways further. He's got to be out there a little ways further. So I take a couple more steps. I'm like, man, he's here somewhere. It's just a matter of finding him. And I glance to my left, and I kid you not, at 10 yards, there his tops were. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, holy crap. Like, this is going to happen, you know? So I figured, you know what, I'll go to full draw. I'll cow call. He'll stand up, see what the hell it is, and I'll let him have it. I got to about mid-draw, and I don't know if he heard the arrow sliding on the rest or what the heck it was, but I got to about mid-draw, and he took off running dead away from me, and I was heartbroken, like, at first. And you know, there again, rifle hunter, I'm like, I'll just shoot him. You know, I can take this shot and make it happen. I don't want to let that bull get away. But I didn't. He stopped at 25 yards, turned broadside to make himself look big to me, and I let him have one. He ran another 15 yards before he finally tipped over. And just, it was, man, the emotions. And like I said, I got two little girls that are hunters, and when both my girls killed their first deer, it was immediate tears. You know, super, super excited about my babies killing animals. And I get excited when I harvest an animal myself, you know.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
Right. I get super excited about it. The excitement that went through my body, and I don't know if it was the history I had with this bull and the amount of hours I spent watching him or what, but when he tipped over and my phone started ringing in my pocket, my buddy Tyler, like, you smoked him, man. You absolutely smoked him. And I'm like, his head's up, dude. I'm not getting excited until I'm standing over him and he's not breathing. Like, yeah. You know, I said, he's down, but his head's up. And he's like, he's not going anywhere, man. Just calm down. So I get off the phone with Tyler, and I drop to my knees, bawling, crying. like everybody needs a good cry. That was that cry, man. And it was just incredible. I called my wife, and I'm trying to get the words out. And she's like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? I said, I just shot the biggest bull of my life. And she's like, are you, can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
goes,
Fuck yeah, we can.
she goes, are you fucking kidding me, DJ? She goes, I thought you stabbed yourself with an arrow or broke your fucking leg the way you're acting. And I'm like, I just shot the biggest bull in my life. And she's like, okay, like, you're being ridiculous. And I'm like, you don't understand. You do not understand how big he is. And she's seen hundreds of pictures that I got of him, so she knew what I was after. So the next call was to my old man. Same deal, kind of let him know, shared some tears of excitement with him. And then I called Justin and let him know, like, hey man, don't ruin your hunt, but Krabby is down. Like, you know, I know you're after bull too, so Krabby's down. He's like, no way. And I'm like, dude, Krabby is down. And in the middle of our phone call, that bull, completely defiant, showing me how tough those animals are, he stood back up.
Holy shit.
And I said, oh my God, he just stood up, Justin. And I took my phone from my ear to my pocket, and as it's like about here, I hear Justin screaming to the phone, leave him alone. Leave him alone. And I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to get a range, and of course I'm shaking. I just wanted to put another one in the boiler room just to be sure. And I kept coming up with 70 yards, and it didn't seem right for where he was that I was coming up with 70. So I dialed up to 70 and let one go, and completely just shot right over the top of him. Well, he ended up laying back over, taking his last breath, and that was the end of that. And then, you know, obviously the work begins, and share some drinks with some buddies, and
yeah. So, what was your, like, and we'll we'll cap it off in a little bit. But when you first got up to him, like, he was huge, right? Like,
right.
What was your initial like? Man, this is like possible record, or is this what was like? Did that pop in your head at all, or were you just?
So honestly, every one of us that scouted him, we misfield judged him by 30 plus inches. We all had him right in that 370 range. I mean, that was what we thought he was. And that was, in fact, a friend of mine, Seth, came down to help pack him out. And Seth walks up, picks his antlers up, 392 and whatever the heck he said, 392 and some change. We looked at Seth like, what the hell kind of jackass are you? Like, there's no way that's not a 390 inch bull. You know, it's not. Well, little did we know, he was damn near spot on for for what he ended up scoring. We'll get into that too.
Yeah. So, how'd that whole process go? So, you've got, you know, in your head now, you're thinking possible, you want to score him. Did you guys go out of there and just plan on scoring him back at the truck, or, you know, like, kind of just to see, or?
Right. So we went back to a friend of mine, Chris Cameron's house, and we started putting the tape to him, you know, and obviously we're celebrating and we're drinking, and we kept coming up with like, what the heck were we coming up with? Like 398 gross, like 388 to 389. We scored him 3 times, and we were within 1/8 of an inch on every measurement on each one of them. So we were coming up with like that 389 net score, and we ended up calling up a guy that he's an official scorer, and we're like, hey, we got this bull, potential record at this point. You know, now that we've scored him, we're realizing that he's right in there for top 3 for sure. And he said, all right, well, 60 days, so I want to see you this day. Well, that day didn't end up working out. We ended up pushing it out a couple weeks after that.
I'm going to adjust this thing for you real quick.
Oh,
there you go.
am I getting too loud?
No, you're good. You just, when you turn your head this way, we'll just catch a little bit more. You're
Oh,
good.
got it.
Yeah.
So finally take him up, get him scored, and we're scoring it. And as he's scoring it, I'm just keeping my mouth shut. I don't want to say a word. I don't want to screw him up in any way. You know, I just wanted an honest score of him.
The back of your head, you're like, nets are for fish.
Right, exactly. You know, exactly. And I'm tallying it up in my phone as he's measuring them and he's writing them down. I'm calculating it in my phone, and I'm like, we're pushing 400 at this point, gross. I'm like, what in the heck? And I hadn't added up the 8s. So we ended up coming up with a total gross score of 404 and 5/8.
Damn.
392 and 6/8. So he is the pending state record by 3/8 of an inch.
Nice. I mean, that's it's worth it all, right? Like,
Oh man.
I mean, the record's awesome, but just the whole experience and putting in the work and getting to get a freezer full of great meat and an awesome, mount on the wall to remind you of it all. Like,
Right.
Can't get any better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then to get lucky enough to share, a hunt, and both you guys draw a tag, a buddy of yours, and that experience with friends too.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah, I'm still in shock about the whole thing. Honestly, it's not real to me that he's a potential, or that he is the pending state record.
So pending Washington State archery record
for Rocky Mountain.
Rocky Mountain. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, it's crazy. But there's, with that comes a lot of bullshit too.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about that because I know from a distance I got to kind of see you deal with a bunch of bullshit.
Bunch of bullshit.
So,
guys that are, you can call it what you want. You can call it jealousy. You can call it, protective of their spots, which I'm not in any way, shape, or form giving out any information on where I killed that bull,
Yeah. Olympia.
Right. Northwest Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows there's big bulls there.
Yeah.
So it's just the rumors I've heard about myself, and it cracks me up because I know the truth. And in fact, I talked to one of our local game wardens about it, and I'm like, dude, have you heard the rumors? He's like, I've heard the rumors, but I've also seen your video.
Yeah.
He's like, don't worry about the rumors. People are going to talk shit. And it's just it's a jealousy thing is what it is. So, one of the main rumors I heard was I'd shot him with a rifle the night before. Well, for one, no, it's just, I don't have the biggest balls at all. And they're, stuck in my wife's purse most of the time anyway. So
Yes, yeah.
But another one was I paid an outfitter $10,000 to watch that bull nonstop for me. I wish I had $10,000 to pay an outfitter.
Yeah, right.
There's just so much crap, so much backlash, so many friends that have kind of turned on me for it. Just.
Yeah, that's got to be the hardest part is people you thought were your friends. And, there's a fine line we tote as hunters to portray ourselves in the right light. And then also when you do something like that, like you can't not be excited.
Right.
Right? Like you want to share that with your friends and family. You want to tell everybody about it. And that's just a human thing.
Right.
Like you're trying to tell me that back 200 years ago, they weren't like gloating about the animals they shot when they got back to camp.
Right.
Like, it's
exactly.
Just, that's human nature.
Celebration's a big part of it.
Well,
Family and friends are a huge part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, a lot of people call it bragging, but it's like there's a fine line between bragging and being proud of the work you put in.
Right.
Dude, when I heard, I was stoked. I was like, hell yeah. And then to hear some of the stuff people were saying, I was just like, what? Why is that a thing in our culture? Like, why are we so jealous and hate on each other when we're all out here trying to do the same shit?
Right. And take myself out of the equation. I owe it to that bull to tell his story.
Yeah, absolutely.
That bull deserves his story to be out there, and that's sincerely how I feel about it. And that's why it is what it is when it comes to that type of people,
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Social media is it's a blessing and a curse all at the same time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Technology is the same way, and how fast rumors travel faster than the bad news travels faster than the good, right? It's just like rumors travel faster than the truth.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy just to kind of be
Just
a
sitting
witness.
in the grandstands watching.
Yeah, I was like,
exactly,
fuck, man. Like, what is everybody's deal?
You know, and at first it was like, you know what, I'm gonna defend myself. Like,
Yeah.
fuck these guys. I'm not gonna sit back and let them say this shit. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing any good. Like,
Yeah.
why fuel their fire, or why let them fuel mine?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not gonna let it take away from my excitement. You know, and I haven't, and I won't.
Yeah, that's a tough. I don't know if I'm that big of a man. I would be throwing blows back on the interwebs.
Right.
But you can't, though. You can't feel their fire.
Right.
And you know, you're, and we'll get into that too. But your volunteer work that you do with the Titan Outdoors thing, and I've only known you for a little less than a year, right? Because I think you were out here just about a year ago.
Yep, it's been about a year. Because it was right before our last camp.
Yeah, and I've not heard a bad word about you. Everybody that I've heard is like, you know, he deserved that.
Well, good, you're talking to the right people.
yeah. But
there are plenty of people out there.
for people to just shit on someone when they don't know the story and the jealousy and stuff like that, like I was pissed because I was planning on coming out there with you,
Right.
and I had to work that day, and I want to say it was like my lunch break, and I text you and was like, "How's it going?" And you were like, "Bull down" or something. I can't remember exactly what you texted me back, but I was like, "God damn it! Like, I fucking should have been out there." I was pissed, and then I saw the pictures. I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" So yeah, that's awesome. You got to still be on cloud 9, right? Like,
oh, I am. And when you know, because I had to go pick him up because he had to drive for 60 days before the official score. So it's like every time I'd walk outside, like walk into my garage, because he still had a smell, you know, from the dry period.
Yep.
We didn't want to do any, you know, I didn't want to do the full Euro on him. I didn't want to cause any extra, you know, shrinkage or anything. So we just let him dry naturally. So he had a little smell to him. So we kept him in my garage. But it's like every time I'd walk out there, I'd just be like, holy shit. Like, he just, you know, he never, I was never disappointed anytime I was looking at him.
Yeah.
You know, kind of going back to, you know, not giving out people's areas and stuff like that, which, and I'm the same way. I don't want to give out my honey holes either, but I'm also the first guy to step up and say, hey, you know, you've never killed something. I'll take you out and show you, you know.
Yeah.
I'll take you out and let you harvest an animal with me, you know. That's a big part of it. I love watching other people hunt. I love it. And watching the excitement of a first timer, you know, it's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm you know, part of me was mad. I enjoy, you know, like any hunts I'm on when there's people there and they harvest something. Like, I want to be part of that pack out crew, right? Like, I want to be like, let's get, you know.
Oh, I'd love to let you do the whole thing.
I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to. I can barely move my legs right now from the gym. I'm struggling to live, but that's like, I love that. And then to be able to experience that with someone, and then you know, the excitement for them, and like what you guys do, I don't know, beat a dead horse, but the toxicity of some of the creatures in this community blows me away. Like,
right.
But
we've got enough competition outside of our own community.
Yeah.
We don't need any extra help inside of our community.
Yep. I know. Yeah. Prime example of that, and living in Washington, everybody should understand that. And I still see posts in groups and stuff like that hundreds of comments and likes that are nothing but fighting and arguing. And it's like someone asking a question, and it's just 20 people shitting on them for not knowing.
Right. You know what kills me is, you know, when a guy, well, it's, you know, it's not the biggest buck, but it's my first. Like,
yeah,
you shouldn't have to ever say that.
Yep.
You know, you shouldn't ever. Our community should not have made anybody feel that they feel it necessary to say something like that. You know, it's your first buck. Leave it at that. You know, that's, you know, I don't care if it's a spike. I don't care if it's, you know, a 200-inch buck. You know, it's your first buck. It's a beautiful buck. You know, I still to this day remember my first buck. You know, and
Yeah, it's
I'm
hard
glad
enough
social media wasn't around when I killed my first animal, just because I wouldn't have wanted that negativity with
Yep.
it. You know, everything I have is positive experiences, positive thoughts about it.
Yeah, there's poor kids that post, teenage kids post a picture on, Washington Hunt Facebook group, and they got a spike on the west side, and grown men are on there shitting on them
Yep.
for it. And it's like,
Let that one grow, you know.
yeah, like, come on, dude. Like, you're perfect.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've never shot something a little small,
Right.
or you just shit on this kid's parade. He's probably not going to want to hunt ever again.
Right. Exactly.
So, I don't know. It's frustrating. I've deleted thousands of comments that I that I was gonna post, and just like I'm just not gonna,
Right.
feel that any more than I have. But on a positive note, and we can get into, I don't know if you want to dive any more into before we talk about Titan Outdoors and what you guys got going on. Anything else that kind of like, during this process that you've experienced that was kind of something you weren't expecting, or
You know, I guess a lot of it was kind of the mantra that Justin had taught me, under excitement. And I remember this from the first deer I shot with a bow, and there again, I had zero knowledge of anything about a bow. The first shot I took at him, I didn't even look through my peep. I was too damn excited. I just completely skipped that step.
Yeah,
you know? So it was, I had that whole as I'm walking up to the animal, it's look through your peep, find your pin, anchor, squeeze, all that stuff is just, going through my brain, which I didn't expect. I don't remember ever being behind a rifle and thinking about all those things,
yeah, yep,
the up close and personal stuff is with the animal was just phenomenal feeling, being able to sneak into his bedroom, being able to sneak into 10 yards of that bull bedded down when his ears are what keeps him alive in the, in this predator infested state. So for me to be able to do that, it's pretty cool. And one of the things that I kind of want to lean on too is I'm not a rich dude. There was times going out scouting where I was like, shit, I don't know if I got the gas money to run all the way down there, and do this stuff. Anybody can do it. You don't have to have tens of thousands of dollars to go out and harvest a big animal in our state. You really don't.
yeah, I agree. That's kind of a conversation we didn't really get into too much on the last episode I recorded with a couple buddies, but I see a lot of negativity and stuff towards this state and hunting in this state, and people complain there ain't no big deer and blah blah blah, and it's impossible to get this and that, and it's like, dude, I see friends of mine every year having great success because they're putting in the work.
Right.
And like you said, we're not rich. I don't have tens of thousands. I don't have thousands of dollars to pay.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna have to siphon gassing out of this lawnmower. No, and the idea, and like I think sometimes it kind of strays away from hunting. There's a lot of countries where the average Joe like us don't get to hunt because they can't afford it. It's hunting in Europe is reserved for royalty, right? Like,
Right.
And we live in like the only place on the planet where we're free to do it for the price of a tag, and sometimes it's a little bit annoying to see these hunts and these raffles go for hundreds of thousands of dollars because I know I'm never going to get that hunt.
Right.
But then again, the money that generates for what we do is huge.
Right. And that was one of the things, like, I knew that one of the raffle tag holders was going to be, he's actually, I don't remember what the state calls it. They don't call it the governor tag anymore, but
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be in our unit. And the frustrating part about it was because of the tag that he was able to get for, there again, hundreds of thousands of dollars, he was able to be in there with a rifle.
Yeah, that's
the
insane.
same day it opened for me for bow. And I'm like, well, it's just, It was a little, that was an intimidating factor right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be worst case scenario, stalking in on something that gets shot,
Right.
like out from underneath you
Right.
by a rifle. Yeah. But luckily, that wasn't the case.
Didn't happen. It was not the case.
So, anything like, as that process goes on with the state, like pending, where do we go from here? Like, what it's pending?
So at the Puyallup Sportsman Show is where I'll get him officially entered. Guys already got the scores and everything up there, so he'll be officially entered there, and then he'll go into the Northwest Big Game Record Book.
Gotcha. So are you personally going to be down there at the Sportsman?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the Puyallup one.
Okay.
Yep, and I don't remember the dates on that. They don't need any extra.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's coming up though. I know that.
Right.
I know.
I think it's at the end of January, early February.
Yeah, and then Yakima one's in February as well.
Right. Which I can only take him to one to put into the contest. I think I can take him to the Yakima one to show him off.
Yeah,
but
find a booth to go put him at or something.
At that point, hopefully Joel's got him. I know Joel's got some big plans for him, and he's going to be doing some stuff with the Army F with him, and they want him at some of their banquets and stuff, which is pretty cool,
Yeah.
So Joel still have him, because I'm only going to get him for those 4 days for the Puyallup show, and then take him right back to Joel and
gotcha.
Let him finish up his magic on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I'd be nervous to even have him around.
Oh man, like
did you hire security as he was drying out?
Right, like he stayed at Joel's the whole time he was driving out. If you've been to Joel's,
yep,
so
to Joel's, yeah.
he was safe where he lives. But when I got him from Joel and I brought him home and he's in the back of my truck, I'm like, okay, well, one of us needs to stay in the truck while the other one runs in. And does what we need to do at the gas station, and then we'll just switch off because
tons of those horror stories that they're stolen out of the back of pickups. Yeah, that'd be bad. So pending, that'll all get sorted at Puyallup, end of January. So that'll be cool to hear. So other than that, we can dive into a little bit about what you got coming up with Titan Outdoors.
Right. I got to pull my phone out.
You're good.
For the dates.
That's fine. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a piss real quick. All right, I'm back. I had to take a pee break. It's a little cold out here. So, yeah, what were we talking about? Titan Outdoors.
Titan Outdoors.
You guys got some stuff coming up.
Yep. So
make sure you get out anything you need to about that, because I want everybody to once again hear about what that's all about.
Right.
So.
Right. So, Titan Outdoors is a group. I don't remember what year Chris put it together. But what we do now is we take kids from the ages of 9 years old to 15 years old down to Four Aces Ranch and Outfitters in Ashwood, Oregon. They get down there, they go through a hunter safety course, they sit down, do some shooting, they get to go out, they get to harvest an exotic ram, all sorts of black Hawaiian, all sorts of different exotic species. Then they come back. We have a taxidermist that's out there with us. He teaches the kids how to skin it, how to cape them out. The taxidermists take all the mounts. They mount them all for free for the kids. And then we sit down with them, teach them how to take it off the bone. And those rams do not taste good at all. So we teach them how to take it off the bone, and we just fill it full of sausage seasoning, some breakfast sausage seasoning, turned into breakfast sausage right there on the spot. And it's instant gratification for the kids. They get to go from never hunting, some of them, have only shot a couple times, to killing an animal, going through all those emotions, learning all about the process till it gets all the way into the pan, and they're able to cook it. They get that gratification there. It's a pretty neat experience. We've got our banquet coming up, which our banquet is where the kids from the previous year get their mounts presented to them, and it's our fundraiser for the upcoming camp. So the banquet is this month, January 20th, in Tillamook, Oregon. We we'll have silent auctions, there's all sorts of stuff they're auctioning off. Barbecues go every year, rifles, shotguns, pistols, all sorts of fun stuff like that, optics. Yeah, it's a super fun event to go to, just the banquet alone. And then the camp is amazing. I mean, it's a family deal. I've gone back. I think this will be my 6th year going back, my 6th camp going back. Both my girls went through the camp. We put well over 100 kids through it at this point. But our camp is March 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st.
Okay.
So you going to be able to make it?
I hope so.
I know we talked about it last year and some stuff came up. So
yeah, I've always got stuff coming up. We'll see. I don't know what the doctor's going to do with me now, but I'll be opened up for another surgery here soon for my arm. So, but I really want to. So, with that, family camp, I could bring the whole family.
Yep, bring the whole family. Bring your trailer. We got people that bring wall tents. We got people that bring trailers. There's a couple full hookup sites down there. Those go pretty quick. So, pretty much, if you're bringing a trailer, plan on dry camping with it. Bring generators and fuel.
Yeah. Probably bring the wall tent.
The closest gas station to camp is like an hour and a half away, so make sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Bring the essentials.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, everybody can come. Like I said, they don't allow animals there. They don't allow dogs there or nothing like that. So make sure you leave those at home. But the whole family's welcome. It's there's plenty of people to help out around camp. When the kids go out to do their hunt, one parent, they have a parent, a guide, a cameraman, and sometimes the ranch owner will go with them on some of the hunts and stuff like that, which the kids that get the ranch owner are the lucky ones because he's the one that sets the prices if they want to go above and beyond what we as a group pay for. So
gotcha. Yeah.
Typically if he's got a kid looking at him saying, well, I want that one,
Yeah.
So
got the negotiation going on.
Yep, right. So, but super cool deal. They post all the kids' hunts on YouTube now. The way you look up any information on the camp is through Facebook at Titan Outdoors. Was it TitanOutdoors.com or just Titan Outdoors? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Yeah, and anybody that's listening to this, that this is, we're gonna only have probably 10-minute spiel about Titan Outdoors. It's an awesome thing they're doing. We covered a little more in depth when we were. I want to say it was episode 3. I haven't even done that many. I don't remember them. Too many head injuries.
I think it was 3 or 4 anyway.
And Chris was on. So if you're looking for a little bit more info, check that episode out. Or you can go to Titan. Is it Titan Outdoors?
It's just Titan Outdoors.
Titan Outdoors. Okay. YouTube. On Instagram. Is there an Instagram?
I'm not sure if there's an Instagram. I know there's a Facebook for sure, and Facebook is where the majority of the information goes out on.
I've seen that. And then any of the info that I'll gather some from DJ here, throw links in the show notes, any of the posts. And are you guys looking for volunteers and or auction items that can be...
So, auction items always. Volunteers... Of course, but we've always got, more than we need. I mean, everybody's welcome, but, so if people want to come down and volunteer and, do whatever they can to help out with the kids, that's awesome. We've got hundreds of people that run around camp. All the kids are just off doing kid things, and it's great because there's zero cell service down there.
Nice.
You will not see a kid scrolling through TikTok or scrolling through Instagram Reels or anything like that. They are all playing and being what we were as kids and just being kids. Yeah. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really want to get down. I've seen a couple of the video submissions. I don't know if you want to break down like the kind of how that goes on. It's a pretty cool deal how they you guys select the kids.
Right. So the kids, they submit a video. Obviously, the quirkier, the funnier, the better. It kind of goes. It's a Oh, how can I explain that? You know, the ones that stand out to us are the ones that are typically going to get chosen.
Yep.
And it's any kid, you know, whether disabilities don't hold them back. You know, we'll take and work with any kid. But the video, you know, they talk about themselves a little bit, why they want to hunt, what they want to do with it, you know. And there again, make it funny, make it stand out, make it, you know, make it stick in our brains.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool because it kind of forces some of them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, make some videos, which is awesome. And then the age range for kids is
9 to 15.
9 to 15. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. I know, you know, we covered, like I said, more of it in that last episode, but it's I can't be more excited about it. Like, I can't wait for my kids to go to that age to be able to submit a video and try to go do that because
Right.
It looks like a great time.
Right.
So anybody you know looking to volunteer some items for auctions, you can get a hold of me or DJ.
Yep, absolutely. And then also there was it'll probably take me a minute to find it.
You're good. Like I said, check the show notes. I'll leave links for that. Titan Outdoors. It's the Little Titans is what it's called.
Little
right?
Titans,
Little Titans. Okay.
Sponsor tables are available right now. They're $1,000 for a table.
Okay.
We've got personalized table, admission and dinner for $8 for the $1,000. 8 drink tickets, first to eat, 1 door prize ticket per guest for $8. The paying sponsor will receive 1 ticket into an exclusive drawing for a Remington 700 long range 7mm PRC 12. Each guest will receive a $50 pack of raffle tickets.
Nice. Oh, that's well worth it.
And I know there's a company, I'm trying to find it so I don't sound like a jackass, but
You're all good.
there's a company down there that's actually came out and said, hey, if anybody wants to donate a rifle, we will sell them to them at cost.
Oh, okay.
I can't find it right now. Where the heck is it at? We'll just have to put the link to
I'll
it.
put the link to
We'll
it.
put the link to. Oh, this might be it right here. Yes. Alex at Pierce Arms, Heath and Alex at Pierce Arms have generously offered to sell firearms at their cost to anyone who would like to donate them to the Little Titans banquet. So Pierce Arms in Tillamook.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool, man. I encourage anybody to go check that out, especially if you got a kid that's interested in getting into it too.
Right, and I actually ran into a family last night. We went to my wife's Christmas work party, or whatever the heck it was. And I was talking to a guy, and hunting came up, and he's like, "Yeah, I've never been around it. My son really wants to do it, but I don't know anything about it." I'm like, "Man, if you'd have told me a month ago, if I'd have met you a month ago, I could have put Logan into this, you know." But it's just today is deadline day. The video's got to be in by midnight tonight, so
Yep.
you know it's a little tight of a window to be able to get a video put together and in. So,
right on. Yeah, check out Titan Outdoors. Go check out DJ's. You still got your pictures of your bull on your Instagram?
yeah,
Okay, I'll post a couple and throw a couple in the video too on YouTube. I think it's a once in a lifetime deal.
yeah. I'm not going for size again. I'm definitely going for character next.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna top that one.
yeah. So I appreciate you coming out and enduring the cold weather and chilling by the fire and having a couple beers with me.
Heck yeah.
And I'm glad I could highlight, your season, your pending quote unquote
it, man.
state record, and then your guys' event coming up with Titan Outdoors. It's pretty
Absolutely.
awesome.
That is the most important part.
Yeah,
the most important part to me.
Don't
at
forget
this
that.
point,
Go check that out.
Yeah.
We got to keep recruiting some of these kids that are interested in this sport. Hunter numbers are dwindling, and with that, so is our ability to maintain this lifestyle. So
If we don't get kids involved, it goes away.
yeah, a lot of guys are getting old. So thanks for listening. Thanks, DJ, for coming
Yeah,
out.
absolutely, man.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Yeah.